Have you ever seen this little white star on a Montblanc pen, on a wallet, or even a watch? It's everywhere. But did you know it's not actually a star? And that for the first few years, Montblanc pens didn't even have it? So, where did it come from? What does it really mean? And how did it become one of the most powerful symbols in luxury? If you're new here, welcome to the Pen Insider. We deep dive into luxury, expose the truths behind the brands, and leave no nib unturned. Subscribe now so you don't miss what comes next. Today, we uncover the real story behind the Montblanc emblem. Before the name Montblanc ever appeared on a pen, the company went by a much less glamorous name, Simplo Filler Pen Company. Founded in 1906 in Hamburg, Simplo was focused on making high-quality fountain pens. But their first big release came in 1909, a pen called the Rouge et Noir. It had a black body, a red cap top, but no snowcap, no emblem. Not yet. A year later, in 1910, the name Montblanc was introduced, not for the company, but for a premium pen line. The legend goes, the founders were sitting at a cafe talking about how to position themselves as the best in the business. Someone pointed to the highest mountain in Western Europe, Mont Blanc, majestic, pure, untouched, the perfect metaphor for excellence. They didn't just want a brand, they wanted a name that stood for something. And soon after, Montblanc became the name of the company itself. By 1913, Montblanc had its name, but it still needed a symbol. That year, the company introduced what would become its most iconic mark, the white emblem. At first glance, most people assume it's a star, but it's not. It never was. The shape was inspired by a top-down view of Montblanc's snow-covered peak, with 6 soft ridges representing the glacier. It stood for purity, longevity, and aspiration, exactly what Montblanc wanted their products to represent. They started placing it discreetly, on nibs, on cap tops, inside boxes. Not loud, not flashy, but once you saw it, you remembered it. It wasn't just a symbol of a mountain anymore, it was a symbol of mastery. Once the emblem was introduced, it didn't stay quiet for long. By the 1920s and 30s, Montblanc realized they had something powerful, so they started putting it everywhere, on the caps of every pen, on the nibs, on the clips, and eventually, far beyond pens. Today you'll find the emblem on watches, wallets, fragrances, cufflinks, luggage, even headphones. It's not just branding anymore, it's identity, a kind of status obsession. Once people recognize the emblem, they start seeing it everywhere, in boardrooms, briefcases, and billionaire desks. It's not just a pen, it's a statement. And the emblem is the exclamation point. The Montblanc emblem isn't just design, it's a signal. Even people who've never written with a fountain pen recognize it. That small white snowcap silently communicates prestige, power, presence. You'll find it in corporate gifting, in diplomatic deals, and yes, in the hands of presidents. When Donald Trump visited Qatar, he was photographed holding a Montblanc Meisterstück during a major deal. It wasn't random. It was deliberate. In film, too, Montblanc pens show up in boardroom scenes, legal thrillers, and character-driven dramas. Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps, The Lincoln Lawyer. They don't mention the pen by name. They just let it do the talking. People may never use it, but they want to own the symbol. And that is the psychology of Montblanc. Montblanc didn't just design a logo. They built a visual language around it. On the Star Walker, the snowcap floats in a transparent dome. On wallets, it's polished and centered like a badge. On watches, it's hidden on the crown. Subtle, but iconic. That consistency creates trust. You buy a pen, you trust the brand, then maybe it's the watch, or the fragrance, or the briefcase. But there's a darker side to that kind of power. The emblem became so recognizable, it also became one of the most counterfeited symbols in luxury. In 2013, Montblanc sued a site in India, Degas.com, for selling knockoffs with false guarantees. We covered that full story in a separate video, from the fake pens to the legal showdown. So if you want to learn how to spot a counterfeit, definitely check that one out after this. To fight back, Montblanc turned the emblem into something sacred. Micro-engraved serial numbers, authentication cards, global legal teams. Protecting the emblem became a matter of survival. And now it's gone even further. In Hamburg, they built the Montblanc House, a museum dedicated to the brand and the emblem. Inside, the snowcap is treated like an artifact. A symbol that started as a mountaintop sketch now sits behind glass, framed like art. From pen caps to courtrooms to museums, the Montblanc emblem has become bigger than the brand itself. So, what started as a cafe conversation became a symbol recognized around the world. The Montblanc emblem isn't just a logo, it's a philosophy, a quiet declaration of craftsmanship, discipline, and prestige. It's survived counterfeits, outlived trends, and earned a place in design history. If you want to go deeper, check out our videos on the psychology of Montblanc or the evolution of Montblanc, linked right below. And in our next episode, we're finally settling a debate that never dies: ballpoint versus rollerball. Which one's actually better, and why it's not as simple as you think? Until then, this is the Pen Insider, where every pen holds a story and every emblem means something more.
So somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.